There is no West Side Story without dance. It was part of the genius of the way Robbins and Bernstein worked together, which is to say that dance is part of the story, right? So when you're coming to see West Side Story, what you're seeing are actors who also just happen to be incredible technicians and can do all these incredible dance sequences. From day one, I really make it a point to remind the dancers that this is emotional, there is intention behind everything. So that's what makes the audience connect to these dance sequences, is that it's not just steps. It's never about steps with Robbins. It's about that character connection, relationships, because when a dancer feels something deeply, then it transcends into the audience without a doubt, and that's where you feel the most, you feel moved by what you're seeing.
Bringing this show to life on stage with the cast members has been amazing. We have so many people in the show who have done West Side Story multiple times, and they are bringing to stage just a wealth of experience and history of the movement that's just like embedded in their bones and in their muscles. And so being on stage with them and getting to watch them do their thing every night is such a masterclass for me as a fellow performer and peer, and just getting to learn alongside them.
Jerome Robbins' style is most easily described as a fusion between ballet and theater jazz, with a huge emphasis on storytelling, intention, character, and relationships. So Robbins completely changed the way dance is integrated into theater by making it completely essential, no longer just meaningful. So when you come to see West Side Story, you're going to see some of the most iconic dance moves and dance sequences in modern theater repertoire.
Understanding the choreography really has helped the performers inform how they portray their character, because in a show like West Side Story, the dance is such a huge component of the storytelling. So we have the text, the music, but then the dance is also such a driver in the story. And the choreography is just so rich in that way, where we have like the prologue at the top of the show where there's no text in the number, and we right away know, just based on the dancing and the formations and the choreography, we know exactly what's happening, and we know what these characters, what they're all about. We know what gang they belong to, we know who they don't like, we know what their gang means to them, just based off of how they're moving in space and just based off the choreography. So the choreography really gives us as dancers so much information to then portray our character to the audience.
I will teach all the dance material over the course of 10 days, typically. It takes about 10 or 12 days to get all of the dance material on its feet. We will rehearse those over and over again. We talk about who's partnering with who, we talk about where they're gonna be in the space. In the rehearsal room, all of that is figured out. And then we literally take those dance sequences, lift them out of the rehearsal room, and put them on stage. And by the time we reach stage, the stage is set, we have our spike marks ready, and it becomes a matter of making little tweaks here and there, because sometimes the stage feels a little bit bigger or the lights change the way things look. But really, my job is to create everything in the room so that it's ready to go to be put on stage.
When I'm on stage and I am performing the role of Graziella, I really just am focusing on myself and what I'm doing on stage and who I'm doing it with, and making sure I'm in the right place at the right time and doing the right movements. And then when I'm wearing kind of the more dance captain hat, I'm looking at the show more globally. And during rehearsals, I was learning the show alongside the cast and responsible for knowing what each person does in the show, where they do it, how they get to where they need to do it, and so really had a clear understanding of the show in its entirety. The relationship between the Sharks and the Jets is really such a, it's the main through line throughout the show. And looking at a number like the prologue, we're seeing the Jets and how they move together as a unit, and how the Sharks and the Jets really throughout the show, they're fighting for control of their neighborhood, right, of like the land. And so we see this in the prologue where the Jets, their movement is they're airborne, they're really traveling through space, they're taking up space. There's kind of this explosiveness to their movement, and they're dancing as a pack. So we're seeing also like their pack is their family, their gang is all they have, is each other. And then the Sharks, their movement is a little more gliding kind of under the surface, like the tension's there, but it's a little more controlled and sustained. And so we see that they're kind of staking out their land in their unique way, and the Jets are a little more explosive and pack-like in the way that they're taking over. So you see kind of this juxtaposition in that dance, and I think it really lends itself to showing the tension between the two gangs, and again, the storytelling of the whole show in that first number.
I think if someone were to just randomly walk in and buy a ticket to West Side Story, they would undoubtedly walk away surprised and loving musical theater and opera and wanting to see more art. I think this is a production that is breathtaking, not only in the story, but in the execution. The messages hit home really hard, but it's one of the most beautiful scores. We have the most beautiful voices. We have the most beautiful dancers with the most beautiful steps. And so it's such a perfect musical that is a real opportunity to say, oh my gosh, I want to see more. Truly, every night I sit there, the overture starts and I start crying. It's just an overwhelmingly emotional experience to be sitting with 50-piece orchestra, hearing Bernstein, seeing these beautiful artists execute these dance steps with such emotion and such integrity and such authenticity. I just couldn't be prouder.